Welcome to our Devos. This week we're talking about getting unstuck. And we're talking about ways that we get unstuck. And I'm going to kind of pick up where I left off yesterday because I talked about how habits actually shape you spiritually. They shape you physically. And when we do little things, it's helpful. Now, I'm going to kind of preface this with reminding you of the second best nonfiction book that I've ever read. And I say this once a year. I'd recommend you try to read this book at least one time. I think everybody on our staff has read it, and I want to encourage you to read it. It is called Atomic Habits by James Clear. Atomic Habits by James Clear. And he's a speaker, a writer, and it's probably, I think, one of the most popular nonfiction books ever written. But in the book Atomic Habits, it's one of those books when you're reading it, almost everything about the book is quotable. Like you could quote pretty much everything, but there is something that sticks out in my mind that I can't shake. He says that every single action you take is a vote in the direction of the person that you're becoming. I'm going to say it again. Every single action that you take, every little action you take is a vote in the direction of the person that you're becoming. So, for example, if you are a person who is trying to be healthier, and because this is a time of year that a lot of people focus on this, if you have a plan where at 10 o'clock when the kids are in bed, you are raiding the treat basket, which, I'm not going to say I've ever done that, but I'm going to tell you that I'm very acquainted with post 10 p.m. treat basket raids. You're voting for the kind of person that is doing that. Like you're that person that eats really bad right before you go to bed. But if you're the kind of person that's like, I want to wake up and I want to have a smoothie to start my day, or I want to have some protein to start my day, you're voting that little protein shake or that little bit of eggs that you make that's clean and good. That's a vote in the direction of a person who is healthy. And there's something else about this that you don't realize. When you're doing stuff and you're like, well, it didn't matter. I just did this once, or I only do that a couple times a week, or I just drink once or twice a week. Keep this in mind. What you practice becomes permanent. What you practice becomes permanent. There is a statement that is made, I think it is by a famous football coach that their name escapes, Vince Lombardi, all right, said this: practice doesn't make perfect, because you've heard that, like, practice makes perfect. That's not true. Practice makes permanent. Only perfect practice makes perfect. So if you practice something long enough, whether it's, waking up at the last minute, hitting snooze on your alarm, that is something you're practicing, but it's not making you perfect. It's just a permanent part of who you are. So you have to be aware that the things that you're doing are going to stick, especially things that you do more than once. In Galatians chapter 6, verse 7, this is the law of sowing and reaping. It's a spiritual law. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. Whatever one sows, that will he also reap. There is nothing sensational about the sowing. Just sow a little seed, sow a little seed, sow a little seed. Whatever you're sowing eventually is going to be what you ultimately get. So if you are thinking that you are going to drift slowly into having a great life, I must tell you, and I would shout this from the rooftops, you're not. But if you're sowing seeds in the direction of being a wise steward of the life that God has given you, of being more spiritual by connecting to God every day, reading a Bible plan, getting grounded in a life group, becoming a person that does service and serves and ministers to people, that is a vote in the direction of the person who God wants you to be.